Pardon me, dropship on the field. But Cal has a decent-sized army at this point. Has almost a control group of Dragoons as if he's zealots alongside. While MVP mostly playing a defensive position. Has a few tanks on the field, finally putting down an army. Has a few vultures. They've been doing a good job. Now planting mines in a few locations. But still, Cal doing a good job just with those Reavers out in the front, just on that bridge, doing a very good job of holding MVP in. Any unit that thinks of wandering to the location gets picked off. Cal going to be trying to pick off the tall cock position. Though there is a mine there, so he's going to be forced to put down a pylon and a cannon to pick that off. MVP actually moving out, floating a few buildings to act as spotter for the tanks. But Cal also putting down cannons at his main. I think at his natural is going to put one there as well. And my phone's ringing at the moment, but I'm going to totally ignore it because I'm casting game of StarCraft. That's what's going on. Should have put my phone on silent. I keep not doing that. Let's see. Reavers doing good. Ooh, pretty good job. Actually, my phone acts kind of like a nice backdrop, nice background music, like total metal. Yeah. So see, Dragoons still at the very least preventing those vultures from moving on, planting any mines. But now dropship going to come down from the right side. We're going to see what it manages to do. Vulture, meanwhile, going to go down. Oh, pick off that probe. There is the cannon was put down, but the probe gets picked off the Trollcock position before it manages to put down Nexus. And MVP's still doing a pretty good job just being annoying with these vultures. Now, is he going to be able to get inside the main? He's not going to try to get inside the main. Just going to try to pick off some of these probes. Going to get behind the middle line. 3 vultures behind the middle line. They're going to be able to pick off quite a few probes before they get picked off. And just MVP doing an absolutely beautiful job with these vultures. Picked off a bunch of probes there. Wow, that's Cal managed to get some of them to the simulator, but still a heavy amount of damage done to the MVP. And is it just me, or does MVP look almost exactly like Free? Looks like his little brother or something. I don't know. But now, finally, MVP going to move out a little bit. Vultures first, picking up a Reaver there, I think. With tanks sieging up just across the bridge. The Dragoons on the left side. And yeah, Cal's troops split up a little bit. 6 Dragoons on the left side and some Dragoons and Zealots on the north side. So at the very least, he has a position for a pincer, but I think there's going to be enough. This is not too hard a push here. Vultures first. They're going to take the initial shots. Tanks going to siege at anything that even thinks of firing at them. There are mines on all sides as well. So if those Dragoons think of moving in from the west, they could be running right into the minefield. Still no upgrades for any player at this point, I believe. Armory and Forge came up very close, although Forge was first. No upgrades yet. Dropship is going to go right inside of Cal's main. Going to drop vultures only. Going to be, yeah, 4 vultures. They're going to run right behind. Start up and planting some mines all over the place to prevent troop movement. Gonna try to get to the gateways. One gets picked off, but the other vultures, yeah, the 3 vultures gonna, we've put as many mines as we can. One on the other get picked off, I think, by a cannon there. I'm not quite sure. They're gonna try at least to pick off something. Not as much damage done this time around. Not quite managing to get behind the mineral lines, but at the very least, still being annoying, still doing a good job. Vultures are very much expendable units. They're very cheap, and for the amount of damage, for the amount of economic damage you can do with them, they're really expendable and useful units. Dragoons are now going to be annoying, moving on a little bit from behind for Cal. So at the very least, MVP's main force is kind of boxed in. If he moves north, he can basically, in any direction he moves, he can be caught a little bit out of position if he's not careful. He is doing a good job of stopping, putting down turrets, supply depots. I think I saw some as well. Attacked as blockading buildings. I think actually that Cal lost a Reaver there as he came out of the shuttle. But Cal's still only at 2 bases, and he's actually, a lot of economic damage has been done to him. MVP now going to delay his push a little bit, move a little bit to the left side, push those Dragoons back. Wants to make sure he doesn't get pincered or get himself into a bad position. But overall, I think he's in pretty good position right now. Getting his 3rd command center going. He might have his 3rd expansion before Cal does, and that's a very, 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 very bad position for Protoss to be in. Cal just going to try to hold on to this. Going to have a little bit of a hard time. He does have a decent force of Dragoons out there. Still has those Reavers to try to do some damage, but I feel he needs to do some economic damage to maybe hold back his production, or at the very least wipe out this army. Finally down Dragoons out in the field. This Reaver doing a little bit of damage with those Scarabs. And the shuttle very close by as well, just to pick it up. There's a siege tank there. Going to get 1 Scarab off before the siege tank manages to fire yet again. MVP going to get some Vulture inside. Going to get a siege tank as well. Going to try to siege on those probes. At least going to be able to get maybe a couple of shots. I think he got maybe 1 shot off on the probes. MVP going to try to save the dropship. He does save the dropship, loses the tank and the vultures, but it literally saves the dropship, so he's still going to be able to be annoying. Still a little bit surprised Cal isn't putting any static defensive close to that. Static defenses close to that position yet. Is going to start picking up a base at the top, but I think it's a little bit late now. You can really spot MVP has a lot of tanks out in the field, still using those vultures to be very annoying, planting lines all over the place. Ooh, gets a decent number of them wiped off there by a mine jack from the Zealot, so there's the nice clearance there from Cal. But Cal really needs to continue building up, and what I'm really worried about is that the only thing he has are Dragoons, Zealots, and a couple of Reavers, and I think he's mostly unupgraded. I think he might have Weapons 1 at this point. I think he does have Weapons 1. They're running in straight into MVP's base across the bridge. Tanks at the north side just shelling the Dragoons. The Dragoons at the very least are going to be able to get inside the base. There are some tanks on this main, some mines. SCV is going to try to pull off the line, try to blockade. Actually being blockaded a little bit, while as the tanks try to move down, there's a Reaver there to get a couple of Scarabs off. So Cal at the very least is going to try to hold this position here. Has only 5 Dragoons left. There's some Goliaths in the field as well. They're going to be able to almost pick off the shuttle. Ooh. But MVP also going to move all these tanks down. I'm not quite sure if Cal's actually going to manage to pick off this base. I think most of his Dragoons, only 2 Dragoons left at this point. SCV's fighting. Some of the SCVs got taken down, but overall not enough permanent damage done there by Cal because he lost that entire force of Dragoons. I'm not quite sure whether he had more than one Reaver. He had one Reaver that's heavily damaged and the shuttle is heavily damaged. So they're out of the game for a little bit. Wants to be very careful of those. The very least, he's going to hold them at that 6 to possibly delay that once the command center goes afloating. But MVP is still keeping a fairly decent troop count. Cal at the very least trying to continue production, but I think mining-wise, he can be very good economy-wise. He's had to reproduce a lot of probes. He's had to keep up constant production of troops from not the number of expansions he wants, but he's going to try to move in there. Zealots reading the charge. There are quite a few tanks, a little bit in open position. Some of them unsieged. The very least, they're going to hold some of them off. Has the Vultures on the left side to hold and take some of the Dragoon fire, but I think he's going to get all these tanks wiped out. Cal's going to move south. We're going to pick up this entire force. Beautiful attack there by Cal. Moves southward and picks up that entire aggressive force of MVPs. So that might be a step right towards the right direction, towards getting back into this game. Has his expansion going, is mining now. MVP does not have his third yet. Both players have been sitting on 2 bases for a very long time. At the very least, Cal managed to get up this third. Going to pull a lot of Dragoons towards the location to make sure it stays mining now. Command center coming down towards that 6 o'clock. Nothing but Reaver to defend against it. Now they can actually fire at the command center, but at the very least, delayed for like 2 seconds. Has another shuttle moving in with some Zealots, I think, maybe with more Reavers. So at the very least, he can try to pick off these Vultures. Meanwhile, he's getting his... Oh, man, that 12 o'clock getting massacred. I think only 2 probes stayed alive. I think they were up to 10 there, but Vultures ran in, did a lot of damage. Cal is going to be forced to pull back from that 6, but they've at least delayed it for a little bit. Not quite sure what he lost in the exchange. Probably that damaged Reaver most likely lost. So I've definitely lost a couple of Zealots alongside. Let's see what else is going on. MVP going to start slowly building. Oh, because of that delay, has a few of his SCVs distance mining running back because of that delay in landing the building. So he's going to be able to very least pick up that 6 o'clock. But still, Cal did a good job of picking up that army. It's going to take him a while. With his new base, he's going to be not as slow as thought to be. At the very least, it's MVP that's playing the delaying game. He needs to get his army back up. Cal at the very least, as a protoss player, has an easier time of picking up his army. Does some Zealot bombs, does some damage. No mine drags, no mines in position he really wanted them. But at the very least, being annoying there. I think he lost his... not sure if he lost his shuttle in the exchange as well. I'm having a little bit of a hard time to decide who's ahead. Army-wise, Cal's definitely ahead. But Cal has not done... The only economic damage he's done is delay that 6. But MVP, meanwhile, the entire time is killing probes on all fronts. And neither player has really lost a command center or a nexus, respectively. I'm not sure if that was quite the correct usage of the word. Respectively, mines hit the Dragoons there. But I think MVP is soon enough going to start reproducing his army, and it's going to take him a while to continue pushing. But at the very least, I think he should keep up with his Vulture strategy. A lot of Dragoons out in the field now for Cal, which he needs to counteract those bunch of Vultures. And he is expanding at this 10 o'clock that gets instantly spotted. Vulture can come in there. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to stop that base from coming up. They're really going to continue to be annoying. Going to come up to 12 o'clock yet again. There are 2 cannons to defend, but they're going to try to pick up some probes, at least force them to run away. Dragoon's now going to run towards this 10 o'clock position, pick up the Vultures that were being irritating there. But Cal has no mining in his main at the moment. His natural expansion also almost completely mined out. I think that's pretty much the same situation for MVP as well. His natural expansion can't be doing very well. His main's dead at this point. The only real mining he's getting is from his 6 o'clock. So both players have one fully saturated, mostly, maybe fully saturated base. Cal definitely doesn't have a very well saturated base just due to all the Vulture harassment that he's taking. Maybe at the very least has a very much saturated at 6 o'clock. Also put up a lot of defenses there because he knows that's his vulnerable point. If that base gets taken out, he is going to lose pretty much his entire economy and going to lose his entire money flow. And with that, he's just not going to be able to keep up in the game and is going to be losing it afterwards. The only thing we'll have on the ground there is his army, and I think like half of his armed forces are at the 6 o'clock. He's focusing very heavily on the vultures at the moment, just so he can produce some tanks later. Go to the dropships here. A lot of vultures down the front. A couple of siege engines are going to siege in, but there are dragoons going to come in from the back. Some probes, but some of them are going to get picked up. Ooh, tank shot picks off the last of them off. At the very least, some economic damage done to him. The tanks are meanwhile going to sacrifice their lives while the vulture run towards the 12 o'clock. They're going to start ransacking some probes. Not going to manage to get too many because there are some dragoons in that position. But still, good job done for MVP. Did lose a bit more, I feel, than he wanted to. I think he lost. I'm not quite sure if he lost the dropships alongside it. I'm not